Hello, my name is Jennifer, and I am the Senior Adult Program Specialist at the High Meadows Branch Library, and welcome to our resource web series. This series is brought to you thanks to a grant from the U.S. Institute of Museum and Library Services and the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. I'm happy to welcome today Heather from the Harris County Robert W. Hainsworth Law Library with an informative presentation about free legal tech for everyone. Hi, Heather, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming, and I will leave the floor to you to explain free legal tech for everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Heather Holmes, and I'm an assistant law librarian at the Harris County Robert W. Hainsworth Law Library. We are presenting this program today as part of our Legal Tech Institute, which is a collection of free learning opportunities focused on the tech that you need to do your legal work. We used to offer these courses every Thursday afternoon prior to the pandemic, but we've gone virtual now, and we're happy to be offering this program today on free legal tech for everyone. So without further ado, when starting any legal research project, you might feel a little like this guy here, scratching your head, wondering where to begin. It's important to know what kind of information is available, how to access it, and where to start. The resources represented here are all available to you as a resident of Texas and as a citizen of the internet. Some of these items are available to you as a patron of the Harris County Hainsworth Law Library, and others can be accessed online via the State Law Library of Texas. Some are freely available to you simply by accessing them on the internet. We will talk about these and a few other resources throughout the presentation, as well as some free or very low-cost technology applications available to you on your smartphone or other mobile device. But first, before we get started in earnest, let's take a minute to reflect on why learning legal tech is so important. Whether you are a lawyer, a self-represented litigant, an academic researcher, or an everyday library visitor in need of an answer to a legal reference question, a basic knowledge of the available resources and tech tools is a must. Lawyers are bound by the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct. In particular, Rule 1.01, Comment 8 addresses, quote, the duty of competency, which requires lawyers to maintain an understanding of the benefits and risks associated with relevant technology. For example, lawyers must maintain the privacy and confidentiality of all client data and communications. For instance, can client data be safely transmitted via Gmail or another web-based email account? Is Dropbox a secure method of sharing files? And what about other forms of cloud storage? These are important questions. To ensure that lawyers licensed by the State Bar of Texas can answer these and other tech-related ethics questions, Texas adopted the ethical duty of tech competence in February of 2019. So that's why lawyers might need to learn legal technology, but what about self-represented or pro se litigants? Self-represented litigants, of whom there are many, can also benefit from knowing how to effectively navigate the world of digital legal information. The Legal Services Corporation estimates that 86% of legal needs go unmet each year. The vast majority of this, quote, justice gap population is left with few options: legal aid for those who qualify, or more commonly, self-representation. So what is access to justice? This brings us to an explanation of why we at the Harris County Law Library do what we do to serve the residents of Harris County. Our goal is to improve access to justice, which is defined as the ability of any person, regardless of income, to use the legal system to advocate for themselves and their interests. Former Supreme Court Justice Lewis Powell Jr. captured the heart of access to justice when he said, "It is fundamental that justice should be the same in substance and availability without regard to economic status." And this is the mindset with which we approach all of our work at the Hainsworth Law Library. Because of the great disparity in access to the justice system, a clear and ever-widening gap exists between those who need civil legal aid and the availability of resources to meet those needs. In other words, a lot of people need help to draft legal documents or simply to navigate the legal system, but they can't afford it. And that's where we come in. We are not lawyers, we are librarians, so we cannot, according to law, provide legal advice. The Supreme Court of Texas takes this so seriously that they appointed a special commission just to address any such abuses of the law. but we are happy to provide legal information to guide you to the best resources for representing yourself in court or for any other legal research need you may have. And this brings us to a discussion of how we can help. For starters, I will tell you a little about us. We often encounter people in the community who are not aware that a public law library for Harris County even exists, but this isn't a huge surprise. Most people don't learn about the law library until they need legal information. We are a just-in-time kind of place, the kind of resource that's available right when you need it. And for those situations, we are happy to be here and happy to help. We take our responsibility as a legal information resource center to heart. Our commitment to serving the community is embodied in our law library mission statement: to provide open and equal access to justice for all in the most appropriate and cost-effective formats possible, and to provide educational opportunities like this presentation today that are designed to enhance understanding of legal information and how it is accessed. On this slide, you'll see examples of what we can and cannot do. We can connect library visitors to helpful forms. We can guide library visitors to useful research materials, and we can refer library visitors to legal help. We cannot, however, give any legal advice or counsel, help library visitors fill out forms, or refer library visitors to specific attorneys. And with that introduction behind us, we can now focus on the heart of today's presentation: free legal tech for everyone. This program will be divided into 3 sections: getting started, leveling up, and going pro. This is today's roadmap and the basic outline of the topics we will discuss. First, we will get started by talking about legal forms, legal research guides, and free basic productivity apps. Legal forms are available for free from various websites, including from courts, court clerks, and nonprofit organizations. We will briefly cover some of the common sources we use at the Harris County Hainsworth Law Library. The first site that we're going to look at is texaslawhelp.org. This is an amazing resource. It is managed by the Texas Legal Services Center, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The Texas Legal Services Center provides free legal services to underserved Texans in need of legal education, advice, and representation. Texas Law Help contains legal information articles, toolkits, and forms with instructions on a variety of topics, including divorce, child custody, legal name changes for adults and children, occupational driver's licenses, expungement of criminal records, protective orders, and so much more. Texas Law Help also offers a live chat service Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Chat sessions provide an opportunity for website visitors to connect with attorneys, paralegals, or law students in real time. All live chat sessions include navigation assistance to help you find what you need on texaslawhelp.org. They also offer a chance to learn about and better understand legal information. In some cases, legal advice may also be provided, and all such services are completely free. And then on our website, which you can find at harriscountylawlibrary.org, you will find links to court forms from Harris County and Texas, primarily from clerk's offices, the district clerk and county clerk, the courts at various levels, the Texas Judicial Branch, state agencies, and more. Forms include things such as orders of non-disclosure, advance directives, court fee waivers, and a wide variety of procedural forms often required for civil cases. Additional links to forms by topic for family law, medical purposes, or bankruptcy are also available on this page. And then legal research guides. The Texas State Law Library and the Library of Congress are the motherships of law library research. Both provide a large collection of legal research guides to help you navigate specific legal topics. The Texas State Law Library has 2 resources to help you find information on a particular area of law, the first of which is this page, Legal Guides by Topic. These guides include brief explanations, citations to primary and secondary sources, helpful online links to more information, and recommended ebooks available from the State Law Library. Another useful resource from the Texas State Law Library is its Legal FAQ directory, which provides answers to questions that are frequently asked at the law library. Within the answers, sources are hyperlinked to help you expand your research on a selected topic. 22 categories of questions are provided, addressing everything from adoption to wills. Family law, gun law, consumer protection, housing, and Texas trivia are a few of the many additional topics. If you ever wanted to know if it's legal to pick bluebonnets in Texas, you can find that information here in the legal FAQs. So that's the Texas State Law Library. Just as the State Law Library is the mothership for the Lone Star State, the Law Library of Congress is the flagship law library for the nation. It offers a collection of 126 research guides. Example topics include a beginner's guide to legal drafting, how to find case law and federal statutes, understanding impeachment, and many, many others. Legal guides for each of the 50 states and a number of helpful pathfinders on international legal research are also available. The guides provide topic summaries, primary and secondary sources of law, suggested materials in the Library of Congress collection, and links to online resources. So that covers some basic sources for locating legal forms online and some good research guides to help you expand your legal research, especially in areas of law that you might not be familiar with. But this now is a section about productivity apps. So we'll look at a few different things that I think will help you to scan documents, fax documents, transcribe dictation, even to use Zoom for a virtual hearing. So the first one we're going to look at is for scanning. It's Microsoft Lens. This is an excellent free resource that allows you to simply take a photo scan of your document. As you can see here, we have our Community Legal Resources Guide that we have photographed, and you can convert the images to PDF, Word, Excel, or PowerPoint files. You can digitize either printed content like this here or even handwritten text. And you can save your documents to OneNote, OneDrive, or any local device. This app is available for both Apple and Android devices, and because it is a Microsoft product, you can expect the same quality that comes with other Microsoft products. So it's a good one to use. The other scanning application that we like to recommend is Adobe Scan. This one is accessed through the Adobe Document Cloud. It allows you to scan a document. As you see here, it detects the borders automatically. It sharpens your scanned content for you. It recognizes text using optical character recognition. And it's a very useful tool. You can do things even like scan a business card, and Adobe Scan will automatically extract the content information so you can quickly add it to your directory of contacts or your phone or other personal device, and no typing is necessary to do that. It is available, again, both for Apple and Android devices. And although it is free, it does have a few subscription features which you can purchase. You can buy up. They range in price anywhere from $10 to about $90, so a little on the pricier end. But the free application itself is also very good. If you do subscribe to any of the additional features, you would be able to do things like consolidate your scans into a single file, export PDFs to Microsoft Word or PowerPoint file formats in order to integrate with your other workflows. And you can also increase your optical character recognition capacity from 25 pages to 100 pages so that you can find text in multiple scans. And of the two, my favorite is actually the Adobe Scan. I like the Microsoft product as well, but I've used the Adobe Scan more frequently, and I find that it's been easy to use. It's very user-friendly. You can share. It's just an excellent resource, and it's free. The next application we're going to look at is for faxing. This one, there are many different fax apps out there. This one is called TinyFax, and it is especially good. I've used it myself many times, and it saves you a trip to the copy store. You know, you can do your own faxing just using your own phone or mobile device. It is free, but it does cost a small fee just to send the fax. You can fax documents from email, from mail and other apps. You can fax documents from Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, and OneDrive. You can fax images from the photo gallery on your device or by using your camera. You can fax multiple files at once, and they support multiple file formats, including PDF, TXT, HTML, PNG, and JPEG. The app provides international fax numbers and a list of countries around the world, so you can do international faxing. You can actually archive your documents by status, making them easy to manage. And you can send faxes automatically at a scheduled time and even set reminders to send faxes. So that's an excellent faxing application, which again has a small fee just to send individual faxes, but it's not much, and it's definitely one of the better applications out there for faxing. The next one we're going to talk about is called Otter. This is a dictation app that allows you to dictate and get automatic transcription in real time. It generates rich notes for meetings, interviews, lectures, and other important voice conversations. You can record and review in real time. You can search, play, edit, organize, and share your conversations from any device. You can actually generate shareable smart notes that sync with the audio, text, and images. And it is compatible with Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and Cisco WebEx. You can export your transcribed documents to a PDF file, TXT, or an SRT file, and you can export the audio as an MP3. And it is really quite good. I've used it, and it does transcribe quite accurately and with a lot of fidelity to the actual, true spoken language. So we've talked about getting started. Now we are going to level up. And in this section, we will talk about how to do legal research from home. These resources are available either through the Harris County Hainsworth Law Library, the Texas State Law Library, or freely available to you online. The LexisNexis Digital Library is our eBook collection. Google Scholar is one that you may not be familiar with, that is actually a Google database, but it is specifically used to search either academic research and scholarship or case law, which we'll look at here in just a moment. There's also the Legislative Reference Library of Texas, which they describe as your partner in legislative research. There is the Legal Scholarship Network from SSRN, and Fast Case, which is a legal research platform that's a good alternative competitor to Westlaw and Lexis, which are the two other large legal research database platforms. And then again, the Texas State Law Library has a wealth of resources that we can look at as well. The LexisNexis Digital Library is a free remote access available to all patrons of the Harris County Hainsworth Law Library. You can access it at harriscountylawlibrary.org/digital-collection. It provides access to over 100 titles on any internet-connected device with an account. And you can request an account through our website at harriscountylawlibrary.org/digital-collection sign-up. And it's easily found on our website as well. And within this collection are a lot of really good practice guides, form books, checklists, the kinds of things that practitioners use. You can download forms that you can then edit to do legal work. It's just a wonderful resource. It includes things like the Texas Litigation Guide, which is a very popular title, the Texas Transaction Guide, the Texas Criminal Practice Guide, many, many resources that practitioners find incredibly useful. And you can access this, as I say, remotely from home, from your office, as long as you have an account. And then included as well in the ebook collection is the ABA ebook library from the American Bar Association. It provides access to 750 plus ebooks from the ABA library on a wealth of different legal topics. And then the Texas State Law Library. This is free to Texas residents. As long as you're in Texas, when you go to the Texas State Law Library website at the link that you see here, you can register to get a library account to research from home. And it provides remote access to many databases, including, I mentioned, Fast Case, a legal research platform, Hein Online, which is really good for law review articles, and Gale Legal Forms. They also provide access to the immigration database called ILA, which is incredibly popular with folks who need to do immigration law research. It's typically a very expensive database, but you can access it all for free if you register for an account. And just keep in mind, when you request a library account from the Texas State Law Library, there is a real person on the other end who receives your request, and they typically respond within about 15 minutes to fill your request, and they send you the login credentials you need to access their resources. They also have over 500 ebooks on 50 legal topics, including many of the do-it-yourself kind of user-friendly legal resources from a publisher called Nolo Press. And so you'll find a lot of good information there, either for both practitioners or for self-represented litigants. And then Google Scholar. I promised to mention this one as well. This one you access by going not to google.com, but by going to scholar.google.com. And by default, it's going to search articles for you. So this would be academic scholarship, law review articles, that kind of thing. But if you click the radio button to the right of articles, you'll see it says case law. And you can actually search cases from many jurisdictions through the Google Scholar search interface. So you would select your courts, and you can choose your jurisdiction. It's easy to select courts, the ones you want to search. You just click the boxes next to the courts and then click done. Once you've done that, you can do a search. For instance, here we've done a search for the phrase right of publicity, and we have found there are 6 results that come up, a very manageable list of results. And along the left side, you can see that you can actually, again, select your jurisdiction. You can select the time period. You can sort your results by date or by relevance, and it will even show you how to cite properly the case that you find. You can export your site to online citation management tools, and it does show you a bit of what they call discussion indicators for related documents, and it helps you identify similar cases on that topic, so you can expand your research even further. So it's a really great resource, and it is paginated, so you can cite directly to the specific page within the case reporter in which that case would appear in print. So Google Scholar is a really good one to know about, and it's completely free. Then FastCase, which is a comprehensive legal research database that allows you to search primary and secondary materials. So that includes both cases, statutes, and regulations, as well as secondary materials, which are commentary on those primary sources. And that's accessible through the Texas State Law Library if you request an account through them. Then I mentioned the Legal Scholarship Network from SSRN. It includes papers published in journals and others published online. It also includes dissertations and theses. So that's a good resource to know about if you're doing academic legal research. And then if you want to do legislative history is defined as the proceedings that lead to the enactment of a statute, including hearings, committee reports, and floor debates. The purpose of legislative history research is so that it can be recorded later to be used in or to aid in or influence interpretations of a statute to determine what they call legislative intent. And the Legislative Reference Library of Texas has a really good guide to researching legislative history and intent on its website. They also have a legislative history archive system where you can search bill files, and you can see scanned images of the bill of a law as it progresses through the process of becoming law. For all of your Texas legislative history research needs, the Legislative Reference Library of Texas is the place to go. The Texas Digital Archive includes resources as well for doing legislative history research. House recordings for the 57th and then the 63rd through 68th legislative sessions are available. Actual recordings of the floor debates and things like that, so you can maybe determine legislative intent, how the laws are being discussed as they're being considered in the House. And then there are Senate recordings, same thing, from the 62nd to the 79th legislative session. And you can access all those through the Texas Digital Archive. All right, now a word about e-filing. E-filing is mandatory for all attorneys who file civil, family, probate, or criminal cases in the Supreme Court, the Court of Criminal Appeals, the Texas Courts of Appeals, and all district and county courts. It's not required for non-attorneys to use e-filing when they are submitting documents with the court, but it is encouraged and preferred. Although filing in paper is routinely done, and our patrons frequently come to the library, find forms on a website like Texas Law Help, fill out the forms, walk 2 blocks to the courthouse, and file them in paper there at the district clerk's office at 201 Caroline on the 2nd floor. E-filing is, as I say, mandatory for attorneys, but there is also a website called selfhelp.efiletexas.gov. This is for folks who are representing themselves in court who want to have an easier way of e-filing. There aren't forms available for every topic, but they do have what they call interview sessions, where they will go through and ask you a series of questions. And when you provide answers to those questions, it then fills out a form for you. It populates that form with the information you've provided, so that you can then e-file that through the eFile Texas system. So they have forms for things like divorce and family law, evictions and landlord-tenant issues, small claims issues, name changes, and protective orders. And that is at selfhelp.efiletexas.gov. All right, so we've talked about finding forms, research guides, some basic productivity apps, and then we leveled up, and now we're going pro. So in the Go Pro section, we're going to talk about some resources that you can access on site at the Harris County Hainsworth Law Library. This includes Hein Online, LexisNexis, Westlaw, and the Westlaw Drafting Assistant, each of which we'll look at here in turn. So the first one is Hein Online. This is one that you can access while you're on site at the law library. It is a great resource for legal periodical research. It has an extensive collection of law journals. It's also a good resource for conducting legislative history research, especially U.S. federal legislative history. And that it includes and provides session laws for all of the states, including Texas. You can find scans of original documents, including cases, and as I mentioned, that whole extensive collection of law journals. All right, then Lexis. This is one of the major legal research platforms. You can request remote access to Lexis currently while our physical location is still on reduced hours. During the pandemic, we have been monitoring the threat level, the red, orange, and yellow threat levels that are issued by the county. Currently, we have reduced hours between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We would normally be open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, but for now we're trying to limit the number of folks who come in to the library every day in order to better control the spread of the virus. So during this time, we've negotiated with the vendors, both Lexis and Westlaw, to provide remote access. And if you would like to get remote access to Lexis, they will provide free temporary 3-day access of unlimited research for that 3-day period. If you just go to harriscountylawlibrary.org and visit our virtual reference desk, you can request remote database access to both Lexis and Westlaw. On Lexis, you will find cases, statutes, regulations for every jurisdiction, including Texas, all the 50 states, federal courts. You can also search by practice area. There are international legal research topics to cover as well. And there are also secondary sources, like I mentioned, the Texas Litigation Guide, the Texas Transaction Guide, probates, estates, and trust administration, all the different things that you see listed here, oil and gas, Texas Jurisprudence, which is a legal encyclopedia, the Texas Criminal Practice Guide, pattern jury charges, all kinds of information. This is one-stop shopping, and it is the direct competitor to Westlaw, which is also a phenomenal database, which includes, again, cases, statutes, regulations for states, and federal jurisdictions. It also includes a lot of secondary sources, including the series that is published by O'Connor's, which is a really wonderful, regularly accessed resource that we refer to commonly in the library every day and is used by practitioners. There's an O'Connor's book on the desk of probably every library in the state of Texas on some topic, and you can access all those through Westlaw, which you can also get through a remote access account request. They provide, I believe it's 20 hours of research over a 14-day period, as long as you have a unique email address to register with that has never been used with another Thomson Reuters Westlaw product. And then within Westlaw, they have a feature called the Drafting Assistant, which provides legal document analysis and review. So it takes your document and it catches errors, inconsistencies, and missing information. It analyzes your document for common legal drafting errors, and it allows you to share your results with colleagues by email. So if you're sharing or collaborating with a colleague on some legal document, you can run it through the Drafting Assistant on Westlaw, and it looks at things like defined term discrepancies. So this will flag items within your document that show potential issues and inconsistencies in defined terms. It looks at things like capitalization for consistency or inconsistency, to see if something is in alphabetical order, if a term location is misstated. It also looks at non-conforming phrases. So these flags help you focus on any inconsistent language in the document. It will find similar phrases within your document and expressions to be sure that they're used consistently throughout the document. And then it catches open issues. So these flags show any blank spaces, any multiple question marks, for instance, any dates or information that need to be finalized before the document is ready. And any open issues are flagged in brackets within your document so that you can easily identify those issues and then address them one by one. And then we're going to take a look now at a couple of other obscure resources. And I say obscure because they're not specifically legal research resources. The first one is the HathiTrust digital library, and the other is the Library of Congress, which we mentioned previously, but we're going to look at a different aspect of it now. So the first one, HathiTrust digital library, is a digital preservation repository. It's a highly functional access platform that provides long-term preservation and access services to digitized content from a variety of sources, including Google, the Internet Archive, Microsoft, and a number of member institutions that have provided content, including, for instance, like the Government Documents Department at the University of Michigan and other universities. Items in the public domain are available in full view for everyone, and items held in copyright are searchable. They include 6,903 collections, including many historical government documents. There are millions of books available to read online. And you can filter by subject, author, language, place or date of publication, original format, original holding location. So you have a lot of options for searching and finding the information that you need. You can also easily share your collections on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, and you can do full text searching with both basic and advanced options. And our director of our law library likes to tell a story. When he previously worked at the Fort Bend County Law Library, a visitor came to the library and was looking for a report from the early 70s from Housing and Urban Development, from HUD, and couldn't find this report anywhere, but just on a whim decided, let's try the HathiTrust because they have so many old digitized government documents that perhaps they would have this old HUD report from 40, 50 years ago. And so sure enough, they went through and they found the full text version of this report that was needed for a homeowners association dispute. And they needed the document that was dated 1973, I believe it was, and they were able to locate it there in HathiTrust. So sometimes it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but they do have a very good search platform and a good interface there. So it's easy to find what you're looking for. There's just so much content to sift through that if you're looking for something that you can't find anywhere else, perhaps try the HathiTrust. And then I mentioned the Law Library of Congress earlier, but there are two good aspects of this database that would be useful if you're searching international law or the nations of the world. That's what the name of the collection is. They have annotated sources of information on government and law from all parts of the world. They have full text laws, regulations, court decisions, and commentary from lawyers who are writing primarily for other lawyers, but it's good insight into the content they offer. An example here is Argentina. So you can see they provide links to the Constitution. It looks like in both English and Spanish. It talks about the executive branch of their government, the judicial, the legislative branches. It also provides information about additional Library of Congress legal guides that might be useful in expanding your research, and some more general sources of information about Latin America, maps of Argentina, that kind of thing. But all of that is available through the Law Library of Congress. And finally, because we are a law library, we always like to refer you to further reading. So we have a few links here. The Ex Libris Juris blog is the blog that we write and produce for the Harris County Robert W. Hainsworth Law Library. We try to publish at least 3 times a week on any number of legal topics. Sometimes we have a fun Friday topic on kind of a curious aspect of the law. And also a lot of other useful information about civil procedure, tech topics, and then the Texas Bar blog is another good blog to follow from the Texas State Bar, and then texaslawhelp.org, of course. If you have any questions about basic legal research, that's a good place to start. It is a wonderful resource that we access on a day-to-day basis, and you can print out forms there as PDF documents and fill them out with a pen, file them with the court, and do your own legal work. So I think that wraps it up for everything today. And I'd like to just say thank you again for this opportunity, and happy to be able to share information about our resources with you today.
Thank you so much, Heather. That was such a great presentation. Again, I want to thank Heather from the Harris County Robert W. Hainsworth Law Library. If you have any questions whatsoever about anything that was presented, or you have any further questions for Heather, the rest of the staff at the Law Library, please feel free to contact them at 713-755-5183. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.